Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the greatest boxer tournament in Title Bout II. Thanksgiving is just around the corner, and I need to get one of these fights caught up. So as a bonus video to today, we're going to go through one of the bouts in the greatest boxer tournament in Title Bout II. An observant user right now is probably getting ready to type, Phoenix Knight, you don't have a bout in the title of this video. Why? Well, the reason for that is because I don't know which bout we're doing yet, and neither do the fighters. So let's go meet the fighter in question, and I'll explain why we don't know what bout we're doing yet. I've got Rocky Balboa's card right here, because he's the reason why I don't know which bout we're doing yet. I'm not going to go through his card yet, but we need a little bit of a history lesson. So if you remember back to his quarterfinal bout against Ken Norton in the greatest boxer tournament back in September, Balboa actually did end up winning that fight, but he also broke his hand in the process. And I said at the time that we were going to come back to that, and here's how we're going to come back to that. So as part of his recovery, I actually checked the day after it happened, and it turns out recovery time for a broken hand tops out at about 6 weeks. It's been a little bit longer than that, but we're going to do a check on Rocky Balboa's hand. The way we're going to do that is we're going to get a random number from a boxing action card, and here are the ranges that we've set up. On a 1 to 70 on that random number, hand healed fine, and he'll be able to box like normal. 71 to 75, he'll still be able to box, but he'll be under the same penalty that he was after he broke his hand against Norton. 76 to 80, ringside doctors won't clear him for this bout, so let's get our random number here. Balboa is going to come up with a 25, so he'll be able to box like normal. We'll give this a shuffle, so now I know which bout we're doing, which is that one right there. Okay, let me give this a quick shuffle. Actually, I'll leave that card out for the time being because I don't want that to come up again when we start checking for cornermen. So I'll bring the John Cena action figure in shot to represent Rocky Balboa for our bout. He's the Italian Stallion. Takes control on a 10 to 12 versus a boxer or a slugger. 10 aggressiveness and killer instinct. Endurance of 90, foul rating B, defense 4, which means his opponent's punches landed range will be increased by 4. KD 1 and 2 of a 4 and 0, knockout of 0, cut 5, and counterpunch 4. You can see his action portion of the card there if you want to pause and look at that. So today is the 19th, so 11, 19, 23. The next thing we need to do in preparation for the bout is get him a cornerman. So I've got the cornermen here. So we'll give this a shuffle and we'll see if we can get him a cornerman rather quickly in the Sport Palast in Berlin. Oop. We'll shuffle that one back in. Before the infamous fight where he broke his hand against Ken Norton, I have the brackets in here. Here we are. So here's a current look at our brackets before we see about getting Balboa a cornerman. Before that, he needed 2 rounds to take care of Vladimir Klitschko. But our first attempt at a cornerman for Balboa is going to be Nick Floria. Training and strategy average. We're most interested in the cut and swell. He's excellent at all of that. Available on a 1 to 60, so we'll need another random number for that. That's a 56, so barely, but Nick Floria will be available for Balboa. There was other thing I want. Oh, I was going to start noting stats here. So a 90 endurance for Balboa on the boxer sheet. So we'll move him over to the board and we'll go through his opponent. I did forget to mention Balboa is an overall rating of an 11, and he's a slugger. Waiting for Rocky Balboa in the semifinals is Vitaly Klitschko, the brother of Balboa's first victim in the greatest boxer tournament, Dr. Iron Fist. Takes control on a 9 or an 11, depending on if he's against a boxer or a slugger. Aggressiveness of 10, killer instinct 9, endurance also 90, foul rating of a B, defense 2, KD 1 and 2 of 1 and 2, knockout of 1, cut 3, and counterpunch 4. So also a 90 endurance for Klitschko, who will be represented by Roman Reigns in this bout. And because they're both tied with an aggressiveness of 10, due to a higher overall rating, Balboa will actually start the bout off as our aggressor. But before we get over that far, we need to get a corner man. So our first attempt to get Klitschko a corner man is going to be Bowie Fischer. Takes on 7 and up, available on a 1 to 45, average on cuts and swells. Let's see if he's available for Klitschko. A 10 says he is. So we've got cornermen set for both Balboa and Klitschko now. With that, I can put those back in their baggie. And then we'll head over to the ring where we need to do a little bit more setup. The setup we need to do yet is that we still need a referee. So I've got the referees right here. We'll see who we can find to officiate this first semifinal bout in the Greatest Boxer Tournament. We're starting to turn the lights on a little bit brighter here. Our first attempt at a referee is Octavio Mayron. Very lenient on fouls, late stoppage, consistency 1 to 65, boxer rating 5. Both of them are 10s, so we won't be able to try for Mayron. Next up, Joey Curtis, who also is a boxer rating of 6, so he won't be available for us either. Next up, Elmo Adolf, who's a boxer rating of a 7, so we probably shouldn't have been able to use him either earlier in the tournament. At least I believe that's what that's for. I'm just going to look this up. Okay, I'm just looking here. Looks like they're just, well, we'll draw for this next one. We'll actually draw for this next one since I'm not sure what the boxer rate is. Art Mercante Jr., who's available on a 1 to 60. So Art Mercante Jr., 55 says he is available. So we'll have him be our referee for this bout. I'll make some notes on the score sheet for the bout. Okay, this other score sheet can go away. I'll bring the card over here. I can't worry about that referee. It looks like he... Okay, so... I'm just doing some notes here. Art Mercante Jr. Type he's normal. Normal referee checks on the 4th point deduction. And we are actually going to be introducing the referee errors to the bout as well. That 1 to 75 consistency, I believe, comes into play. This is C75. Okay, so we'll be checking on this referee error table at the start of the bout. So we'll get a random number at the start of the round, and I'll give this a quick shuffle into our second deck. All right, we'll give that a cut. And with that, I think the table's all set here. So let's get into round 1, finishing our final setup, and then once we're all set to go with the round, Balboa will be our aggressor. All right, so we need to get a random number for the referee error table. We'll be consulting the good column with that random number. So here we have a 37, so no mistakes will be made during the first round. We'll check at the start of each round. With that, we're all set. So there's the bell, and let's start round 1. Balboa will start us off. He'll need a 12 to take control against a slugger, which he gets with an 11. His first action. 20 will be landing a punch. Balboa will get on the board first. 9 with a 2-point jab. Back to Balboa we go, who loses control. Klitschko needs an 11 to take control against a slugger, which he does not get. I can get that out of the way. Whoop. Try not to knock the light over, Phoenix. Balboa, no control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa takes control. His next action. 52 is going to clinch. Back to Balboa. No control. Klitschko. No control. I'll bring them closer together. They don't need the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost between them. Back to, I believe that was a check for Klitschko. So back to Balboa, who takes control. Foul. He's a B against. Normal referee doesn't add anything to the check. So Balboa is a B against a 54. Actually, I checked the that's actually a random number that I checked for. So an 8 would get waved off. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 29 is going to land a punch, and Balboa will land. A 1 is good for a 3-point jab, so Balboa is so far pretty much controlling the action in the first round. Back to Balboa we go, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. 7 is going to land a power shot. Balboa is a 4 against a 20. Yowza. 4 against a 20. Oh boy, we got to check for a knockout already. So that's going to be 6 points to Klitschko. And then we need to check for a knockout. This is not very likely to be a knockout, but Balboa will be a 0 against a 4, which, spoiler alert, kids, not a knockout, but it is enough to give Klitschko his killer instinct. Klitschko gets 9 cards on Killer Instinct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And Klitschko took the lead with that power shot, and he has the potential to add to it here. So first up for Klitschko's Killer Instinct. 51 is going to be a clinch. Then 38 is going to miss a punch. Balboa can try to counterpunch. Actually, Balboa can't try to counterpunch. So back to Klitschko. 10 is going to just, 10 is going to just miss a power shot, but Klitschko will land another punch. 70 will be good for a 3-point uppercut, which will bring Klitschko up to 9 points. And sounds like football guys at it again. Next up, Klitschko, a 36 will miss a punch, no counter punch. Next up, 23 will land a punch, and Klitschko will land. A 22 will be good for a 3-point hook, so Klitschko is up to 12 points. 2 more cards left in Klitschko's Killer Instinct, which of 50 will be a clinch, and the last card will be ring movement. So where are we moving? We are moving, staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko for the next control check, who loses control. Balboa takes it. 68 will be a clinch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 12 is going to land a power shot of his own. Klitschko is a 1 against a 13. 13. 1 will be 5 points to Balboa. Balboa needed to get into that one. The crowd is actually quite excited right now in Berlin. They've already had a lot of power play here. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 47 is going to be a missed punch. Klitschko can try to counterpunch. 53 won't do it. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 70 is ring movement. We are moving nowhere. We're staying at ring center. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa takes control. 67 is a clinch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 60 is going to be another clinch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 49 is a clinch. Balboa's last card of the round. He would have control, but that's the end of round 1. What an exciting round to start with. 10 points for Balboa to 12. To 12 for Klitschko. 78, 80, and that close. We need to ask the judges what they think of the bout. With a 2-point differential, the judges are scoring it. High, even high, so they're giving the round to Klitschko. Just making some notes here. Klitschko wins the round. I'll get the decks reshuffled, and then when we come back to round 2, Klitschko will actually be our aggressor. Before we sound the bell to start round 2, here's our referee check. 35, once again, will mean no mistakes will be made during the round. So I'll clean those zeros up a little bit. And there's the bell, and Klitschko's our aggressor to start round 2. He will start us off with control, his first action of the round. 43 will be a missed punch. Balboa can try to counterpunch, which he'll land a power shot in doing. Klitschko's a 1 against a 13. 13-1 will be 5 points to Balboa, and Balboa will come back with the next control check once I get this scored for Balboa. Balboa coming back with no control. Klitschko can't take control. Balboa takes control back. 12 is going to land another power shot. Klitschko's still a 1 against a 1. That'll probably be 4 points. Yep, 4 points to Balboa, which will bring Balboa up to 9 points. Power is definitely coming into play early here, folks. Back over to Balboa we go, who loses control. Klitschko takes control, since they're both sluggers. 24 is going to land a punch of his own. Klitschko will get on the board. 70 cut. 70 is good for a 3-point uppercut. And then we need to check for a cut on Balboa. Balboa will be adding 5 to this result. 11-16, I'm almost certain there's no cut. Back to Klitschko we go, who stays in control. 11's going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. 51 cut. 51 this time is good for a 2-point cross, which will bring Klitschko up to 5 points. And then a 5 plus a 62 is a 67. That'll be a significant cut. I'm just going to start a sheet here. All right, so we got a cut for Balboa. 5 plus a 62 will be a 67. Major cut under the right eye, so he'll be adding 1 to his cut rating. And his cornerman will try to work on that during the intermission period. Back to Klitschko we go, who loses control. Balboa takes control. 42 will be a missed punch, no counterpunch. Klitschko's counterpunch range isn't high enough. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 72 is ring movement, so we are moving to the right neutral corner. Balboa will now be a +1 on his control checks, so he'll need a 13 or less, which a 7 will do naturally. Foul. Balboa is a B against a 12, which will get waved off. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 44 is going to be a missed punch. Klitschko's range, 48.765, is not high enough to counterpunch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control again. 19 is going to land a punch. Balboa will land. 51 will be good for a 2-point cross. That'll bring Balboa up to 11 points. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes it. Foul of his own. He's also a B against a 37, which will also get waved off. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 69 is going to be ring movement, so we are moving back to ring center, which gets Klitschko out of the corner. And loses Balboa his extra control advantage. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes it. 15 will just miss a power shot, but he'll land another punch. Balboa will land. 75 will be good for a 3-point uppercut, which will bring Balboa up to 14 points. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes it. 54 is a clinch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 75 is going to be ring movement. We're moving nowhere. We're staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes it. 40 is going to be a missed punch. No counter punch. There's the end of round 2. 14 points for Balboa to 5 for Klitschko. 17. I'm just doing my paperwork off camera here. 66. Yes. And I believe by a 9-point differential, Balboa takes the round 10-9. He also takes the right to be the aggressor back. So I'll get the decks shuffled again, and then we'll start round 3, where Balboa is back to being the aggressor. I actually dirked in a couple ways, but I didn't realize it on the bout so far. So when Klitschko picked up that knockdown in round 1, he should have won the bout 10-8 since he won the round on points. And then I didn't check for a carryover on Balboa, so we just ran the round assuming there was no carryover. But we need to do 2 checks. First, we need to see what Balboa's cornerman is able to do with the cut. With that cut that he picked up. So we'll get a random number for that. A 75 says no reduction of the cuts and swelling even with an excellent cornerman on cuts. Then we need to check for the referee. A 69 says we're going to have some problems, I think, this round. Yes. It's called a slip and knockdown. Score 4 points, but no killer instinct goes into effect. So, just calling a slip. I think that only occurs, looks like there's a 1 next to that. I believe we only check that once for the entire bout. It can only happen once in a bout, so okay. So the first, I'm going to make a couple notes here. So no reduction on the cut and round 3 referee. First KD is going to be a slip. Alright, so now that we've got all that set up, Balboa is our aggressor, so there's the bell, and let's send it off with Balboa as our aggressor in round 3. He will start us off with no control. Klitschko takes control. 18 will land a punch. Klitschko will land. 18 cut. 18 is good for a 2-point jab. And then we need to get a cut rating. Balboa is actually going to be... Balboa is going to be a 6 because of that cut under or over his right eye? Under his right eye. So he's a 6 plus... a 6, which is 12, no cut. Back over to Klitschko, who stays in control. Injury, okay. What do we have here? Oh boy, fighter walks into a hard counter, 2 points, into a hard counter punch, which breaks his nose. Reduce endurance by 5 at the beginning of each subsequent round. So Klitschko, so Balboa is going to pick up 2 points based on that. So 2 points to Balboa, and then round 4, actually this is round 3. Klitschko broke his nose. -5 endurance at the start of the round. I'm making a note of that so I don't forget. Back over to Klitschko we go, who stays in control. Klitschko wants to get this fight over pronto now. 67, a ring movement might help. We're moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko. He'll stay in control with that. 46 is a clinch. Back to Klitschko. No control, loses control. Balboa takes it, just barely. 77 is ring movement, so we are moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 21 is going to land a punch. Balboa will land. 40 will be good for a 3-point cross, which will bring Balboa up to 5 points. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. Landing a power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 15. 15-1. 5 points to Balboa, and Balboa stays in control. So we go to the next action check with Balboa right off. So 10 points to Balboa. And the next action check for Balboa, 52 is going to be a clinch. Back to Balboa for a control check. He'll lose control. Klitschko takes it. 60 will be a clinch. Back over to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes it. 80 is ring movement, so we're going to be moving to the far ropes. Balboa is now +1 on his control checks once again. Back to Balboa, who takes control naturally. 74 is more ring movement, so we are moving right back to ring center. Apparently he's allergic to having the +1 control advantage. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes it. 8's going to land a power shot of his own. Balboa is a 4 against a 7. 7, 4, 5 points to Klitschko, which is 5 much needed points for Klitschko. Especially since he's going to be losing 5 at the start of every round. We haven't had a knockdown yet, though. Back over to Klitschko, who stays in control. He's against a slugger. 36 is going to miss a punch, no counterpunch. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko takes control. 76 is ring movement. We are moving. Staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes control. 61 will be a clinch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko would take control, but that's the end of round 3. So 10 points for Balboa to 7 for Klitschko. 24. 7 from there is 66. 56, but that's going to go down to 51 because of Klitschko's broken nose. We need to see how the judges are scoring it. The judges are scoring it low, high, high. So they're giving the round to Balboa. Right, I will get the decks shuffled up for round 4, and then when we come back, Balboa will once again be our aggressor. Referee check before we start round 4. A 30 says no mistakes will be made. With that, there's the bell, and let's start round 4. Balboa will start us off with no control. Klitschko won't take it. Balboa, no control. Klitschko, no control. Actually, Klitschko will take control on that. 57 will clinch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. Will land a power shot. Balboa is a 4 against a 6. 4 points to Klitschko. So Klitschko will get on the board first. And still not a knockdown. I've still got the slip on my notes. Klitschko gets the next control check. He'll lose control. Balboa will take it. He'll land a power shot of his own. Klitschko's a 1 against a 17. 17-1. 5 points to Balboa, and he gets his full killer instinct. Five points to Balboa, and 10 cards for killer instinct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. First card up for Balboa is another power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 2. That should be another 4 points. Yep, that's another 4 points to Balboa. Nine points there. Next up for Balboa, 42 will be a missed punch, no counter punch. Coming back to Balboa's killer instinct. 66 will be a clinch. Then 10's another power shot. Klitschko's still a 1 against a 9. 9. 1 will be another 4 points to Balboa. So 13 points for Balboa. Next up, 69 will be ring movement, so we're moving. Staying at ring center. Next up, special, which we don't check during killer instinct, and a power shot coming out of it. Klitschko's still a 1 against A 10. 10-1 will be another 5 points to Balboa, which will bring him up to 18 points. I'm just going to do a quick TKO check, but I don't think we're anywhere close to that. Nope. Balboa, well, I say we're not close to it, but the way Balboa is bringing his power, we might be. Coming back to Balboa, he will lose control, thankfully for Klitschko. Klitschko's next control check won't give him control. Balboa takes control right back. 31 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Balboa. No control. Klitschko. No control. Balboa. No control. Klitschko. Takes control. Foul. Klitschko's a B against a 10, which will get waved off. Back to Klitschko. Stays in control. 32 is going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. 60 cut. 60 is good for a 2-point combination. Klitschko needs to stem the tide of the carnage here. Balboa is adding 1 to his cut rating because of that cut under his right eye, so he's 6 plus. And 11-17, that'll be no cut. Over to Klitschko, who stays in control. 43 misses a punch. Balboa can try to counterpunch. 55 won't do it, though. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. Foul. Klitschko's a B against a foul, so nothing there. Klitschko, no control. Balboa takes control. 40 misses a punch, no counter punch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. Foul. Now Balboa's a B against a 2, that'll get waved off. Balboa stays in control. Landing another power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 2. That should be another 4 points to Balboa. Yep. So that'll bring Balboa up to 22 points. Back to Balboa we go, who stays in control. 72 would be ring movement, but that's the end of round 4. 22 points for Balboa to 6 for Klitschko. Balboa is starting to take over here more than a little bit. 56, 60. Let's see, that would be 29 minus another 5, 24. Klitschko is running out of endurance quickly. By a 16-point differential, we have to check how they're scoring it. So this is going to be a little bit different with a 16-point differential. The judges are scoring it high, high, low. So judges 1 and 2 are giving Balboa the round by 10-8. Balboa is winning it on all 3 cards. Judges 1 and 2 are giving it to him 10-8. Judge 3 is giving it to him 10-9. So I'll get the decks reshuffled, and then heading into round 5, Balboa will once again be our aggressor, and we need to be aware of a 2-round TKO. It's getting intense in Berlin, but we need to see how the referee is going to handle this next round. 12 should be nice and clean. Yep, 12 will be a nice and clean round. So, there's the bell. Balboa is once again our aggressor to start round 5. Balboa will start us off with control. Landing a power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against an 11. 11-1 will be 5 points to Balboa. for that power shot. Balboa's continuing to bring his power. He's got a slight edge in it, and he's using it. Balboa will continue the round with control. 23 is going to land another punch. Balboa will land. A 1 will be a 3-point jab, which will bring Balboa up to 8 points. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. 36 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. Lands a punch. Klitschko will get on the board. 71 with a 3-point uppercut. Klitschko will cut into the lead in points in the round. Up to 3 points. Back to Klitschko we go, who loses control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko takes control. Foul. Klitschko's a B against a 76. I'm sure he's losing points for this one. 76, yep, the referee's taking a point away for continued holding and hitting. So that's Klitschko's first foul. Actually, that's our first foul all bout. Just making a note off camera. So that's his first point deduction. Okay, now that we've got that figured out, coming back to the action, Klitschko will stay in control. 1 is going to land a power shot of his own. Balboa is a 4 against a 13. 13, 4. 5 points to Klitschko, and he gets his full killer instinct. He needed that. Klitschko's killer instinct is 9 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Klitschko will lead off his killer instinct with another power shot. Balboa is still a 4 against a 6. Will be another 4 points to Klitschko. So Klitschko will go up to 12 points. Back to Klitschko's killer instinct. Foul, which I don't check during killer instinct. 70 is ring movement, which does get checked, so we're moving. Staying at ring center. Next up, 60 is going to be a clinch. Next card up is going to be a landed punch. Klitschko will land. 30 cut. 30 is good for a 2-point hook, bringing Klitschko up to 14 points. And then Balboa is a 6 plus 41, which is 47. That'll be minor swelling under left eye. So Balboa will be adding another 1 to his cut rating. 41, 47, under left eye, plus 1 cut. So actually I forgot to get the cut points earlier. That was a major cut under the right eye. 3.3 for that, and 1 cut point for the swelling that he just inflicted. Back to Klitschko we go, who stays in control. Landing another power shot. Balboa is a 4 against a 10. 10, 4 will be another 5 points to Klitschko. Looks like it's Klitschko's turn to run away with the round. So that'll bring Klitschko up to 19 points once it decides to focus. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 29 is going to land another punch. Klitschko will land. 50 is good for a 2-point cross, which will bring Klitschko up to 21 points. Didn't think Klitschko would start to take control of this round. Klitschko back with the control check. He'll keep it. 47 will be a clinch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control again. 58 is another clinch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. Foul. Klitschko's a B against a 16. That'll get waved off. Back to Klitschko. Loses control finally. Balboa's got to stop this carnage. A 2 will help him do that by giving him control. 63 will be a clinch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 39, miss a punch, no counter punch. Back over to Balboa, staying in control. 71 is ring movement, so we are moving to the far ropes. Balboa once again a +1 to his control checks, which means the 13 will work for him. 17 is not that. Klitschko will take control. Klitschko will land a power shot. This could be bad. Balboa's a 4 against an 18. Uh-oh. 18, 4. That's where the slip is going to come in, actually. That's going to come in and hurt Klitschko. So he would have been knocked down, but instead Klitschko will pick up 4 points, but he won't get his killer instinct. Fortunately, we can't have that happen again for the rest of the fight, but that's the end of round 5. Klitschko took over that round. 25 for Klitschko to 8 for Balboa. So we actually need to be watching for TKOs for both of them now. 55, 64, 25, 35, 8, 11. They're both just barely fresh. By a 17-point differential, we need to check the scores again. Klitschko's winning the round anyway, but let's see how the judges score it. They're scoring it high, 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 so all 3 of them are giving the round to Klitschko 10-8. Okay. With that, I will get the decks reshuffled, and we'll come back to round 6, where Klitschko will be our aggressor. Before we sound the bell for round 6, we need to make 3 checks. First, for Balboa's cornermen to see if they can do anything with that minor swelling under the left eye. A 71 says no, they can't. Balboa's corner is not helping him with those cuts this fight. Next, we need to check for the referee, see if he'll make any mistakes this round. 34 says it should be nice and clean. Yep. Then the last check is for a conditions check for Balboa, because he took 25 points worth of punishment without a knockdown. So we need to check on the conditions table based on a knockout rating of a 0, actually. 14 says no problem there. With that, we're all set. So there's the bell, and Klitschko's our aggressor to start round 6. Klitschko will start us off with control. His first action of the round will be a landed punch, picking up right where he left off. Klitschko will land. A 45 will be good for a 3-point cross. Klitschko picking up right where he left off. Back over to Klitschko for the next control check. He won't keep it. Balboa can't take it. Klitschko. These guys should be back to ring center. Remember that, Phoenix. Back to Klitschko, who takes control back. landing a power shot. Balboa is a 4 against a 9. 9-4 is 5 points to Klitschko. So Klitschko really picking up where he left off. Bringing his own power to bear. So 8 points for Klitschko on the round. Back to Klitschko we go, who stays in control. 64 will be ring movement. We are moving. Nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes it. 25 is going to land a punch. Balboa will get on the board for the round. With a 1 point partially blocked. So he didn't get all of that shot, but enough to kind of get Klitschko's attention a little bit. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 19 is going to land another punch. Balboa will land. 60, that's a little bit more his speed. That'll be a 3-point combination. Balboa cutting into the lead for Klitschko to start the round. Balboa keeps control. 13 just misses a power shot, but he'll land another punch. Balboa will land. 35 will be good for a 2-point hook. So he's up to 6. So Balboa is up to 6 points on the round. Back to Balboa we go, who loses control. Klitschko can't take it. Balboa takes control back. 44 is going to miss a punch. Klitschko can't counterpunch. Just out of range. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. Landing a power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 12. 1 will be 5 points to Balboa. And just like that, Balboa takes the lead as the two of them have been trading bombs all bout. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. Picking up another power shot. Klitschko once again is a 1 against a 6. That should be 4 points. 6-1, yep, 4 points to Balboa, which will bring Balboa up to 15 points. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 59 is going to be a clinch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa can't take it. Klitschko, no control. Balboa takes control back. Back over to Balboa, who will land another power shot. He's getting jiggy with these power shots. 1 against a 16. 16-1. 5 points to Balboa, and he gets the next action check because Klitschko was hurt by that one. So 20 points to Balboa. Now we need to be very aware of TKO land. Balboa gets the next action check. 15 will land another punch. He will land. 67 will be good for a 2-point combination, up to 22 points for Balboa. Back to Balboa for control check. He'll take it. Well, he'll keep it, I should say. 72 will be ring movement, so we are moving to the near corner. Balboa now has +1 to his control checks, which won't matter for there because he'll get it anyway. Foul. Balboa is a B against a 62. That might be a warning, actually. Nope, 62 is just being told to keep it clean. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. 54 is going to be a clinch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 12 is going to land a punch. Klitschko will end the round with a 60 cut. 60 is good for a 2-point combination, but we need to get a card from the other deck for Balboa's cut check. He'll be a 7. Balboa's a 7 plus a 70. That's 77. That's going to be some pretty significant damage. Round 6 cut for Balboa. 77 will be major swelling over the left eye. That's going to do a lot to Balboa. So -1 control factor, -2 defense, and -2 punches landed. Also will be good for 4 more cut points. So now we need to keep an eye on that. But on that note, that's the end of round 6. 22 points for Balboa to 10 for Klitschko. By a 12-point differential, Balboa will take the round 10-9. Alright, so that's 86. 65. 22. Klitschko is fatigued. Balboa has 24 endurance left. So Balboa will be our aggressor to start round 7. I'll bring them back to ring center now so I don't forget. We'll move that over here. I'll get the decks reshuffled. And then Balboa, then we'll be busy at the start of round 7. We're halfway through the fight, and thanks to his broken nose, Klitschko is already fatigued. So we'll take a look at his card and see how that changes. His control factor is now a 10 against a slugger. Still 10 aggressiveness, only 8 killer instinct. Foul rating still a B, defense is still a 2. KD rating now becomes 1 and 3. Knockout is now 2. Cut 3, counterpunch is still 4. But we have a couple of checks we need to make. First, we need to see if Balboa's corner can do anything with these cut points that he's been accumulating like crazy. So far, his corner's been failing him. Let's see what his corner does this time. 25 finally actually does something about these cuts. So a 25... oh, here it is. 25 will actually reduce the cuts by 2, so he'll lose 2 of those cut points. Which means Balboa only has 6 cut points now to Klitschko with no cut points as of yet. Alright, now we need to check for what the referee's doing this round. Is he making any mistakes? A 10 should say he's not. Yes, 10 says no mistakes will be made during the round. Now we need to be aware of 2-round TKOs. But Balboa is still fresh, and he's our aggressor, so there's the bell. Balboa will start round 7 off with control. 76 will be ring movement, so we are moving to the far ropes. Balboa once again +1 on control checks. Coming back to Balboa. He'll take control anyway. 30 will end up... Actually, wait a minute. We got to remember that he had -1 control factor, so he still would get control from that. But he has -2 defense, -2 punches landed, so he actually doesn't land the punch. But Klitschko can't try to counter. Actually, with defense rating of 2, he still would actually land the punch. I haven't been paying attention to defense all fight, not that it's mattered. Balboa will land. 20 will be good for a 3-point hook. So Balboa up to 3 points on the round. Coming back to Balboa with the next control check. He won't take it. Klitschko needs a 10 now, which that'll work. That's a 9. His power is now reduced to 7, so we need to be careful of that. 12 will land a punch. Klitschko will land. 31 will be good for a 2-point hook. So Klitschko now on the board as well, with 2 points. And actually, I'm going to move these. I'm going to move both of these cards down so I don't have to crane my head so far. So I don't have to crane my neck so far to see them. Probably should be doing that earlier, but hindsight, as they say. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes it. 16 will land a punch. Balboa will land. 69 will be good for a 3-point uppercut. So Balboa up to 6 points. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes it. 77 is ring movement. We are moving to the left neutral corner. And Klitschko now has +1 on his control check, so he's back to needing an 11. Which he'll get a 6 anyway. 58 will be more ring movement. We are moving back to ring center, so Klitschko gives up his advantage. Now back to needing a 10, which that'll give him control. 80 is ring movement, so we're moving once again. Staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko. No control. Balboa needs an 11 because of his cut. That is not Klitschko. No control. Balboa. No control. Klitschko. No control. Balboa takes control. Actually, against a slugger. Actually, that would be control for Klitschko. Just, wasn't there something that was reducing his control factor? No, I think that was for Balboa. So actually, Klitschko would have control, which means this would be ring movement. Right? Yes. So we are actually moving to the right neutral corner. Klitschko once again +1 to his control checks. He's not doing anything with this control bonus. Actually, neither of them are. No control. Balboa takes control. Foul. Balboa is a B against. A 6, no foul. Actually, Klitschko should have lost a point from last round. So 36 or 35. No, 36. Should be 26 for Balboa, so he's still fresh. All right, that was Balboa. Actually, that was Balboa's control check. Actually, yeah, that was just Balboa. Klitschko, no control. Balboa takes control. 21 is going to land a punch. He will land. 41 for a 3-point cross. That'll bring Balboa up to 9 points. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. Landing a power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against. A 1 that should be 4 points to Balboa, and it is. So that'll bring Balboa up to 13 points. Back to Balboa we go, who loses control. Klitschko takes it. He's a +1, remember. 65 is going to be ring movement, so we're moving. Back to ring center, so Klitschko now giving up his advantage once again. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes control. .53 is a clinch. Balboa's last control check of the round Wouldn't give him control, but there's the bell to signify the end of round 7. 13 points for Balboa to 2 for Klitschko. 67, 89, 24, still fatigued. By an 11-point differential, high score wins at 10-9, so Balboa takes the round 10-9. Okay, I will get the decks shuffled up, and then Balboa will still be our aggressor going into round 8. Referee check heading into round 8. Card says 34 is a clean bout. Oop. There's a clean round. With that, there's the bell, and we'll start round 8 with Balboa as our aggressor. He will start us off with control. 19 will be landing a punch. Balboa will get on the board right off the bat. 11 with a 2-point jab. So Balboa up to 2 points. Other than 1 round TKOs, are we needing to be paying attention? Slightly for Balboa for a 3-round TKO. Back to Balboa we go, who stays in control. 47 will be a missed punch. Klitschko can try to counter punch, which he won't do. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. 55 will be ring movement, so we are moving. It's nowhere, we're staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko. Loses control. Balboa can't take it because remember, his control factor is reduced by 1 from that cut. Klitschko takes control. 45 is going to miss a punch. Balboa can try to counter punch, which he won't do. Back to Klitschko. No control. Balboa. No control. Klitschko takes control. 54 is going to be a clinch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. Landing a power shot. Balboa is a 4 against a 7. 4 will be 5 points to Klitschko. Getting Balboa's attention as if to remind Balboa, hey buddy, I'm still in this fight. You're not getting rid of me that easily. 5 points to Klitschko. Back to Klitschko with the control check. He'll stay in control. 37 will be a missed punch, no counter punch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 59 is ring movement. We are moving to the far corner. So right there. Klitschko will be +1 on the control check, so an 11 will work for him, which that is not. Balboa takes control. 56 will be a clinch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. Landing a power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 20. Oh boy. 1 against a 20 is a K1 to 10. On a 1 to 10 for a KD rating, we score 6 points plus a knockdown and full killer instinct. On an 11 to 20, score 6 points and add KD. So either KD 2. So either way, Balboa is picking up 6 points, which will bring him up to 8 points. But we need another KD rating. Whoop. Trying not to sound the bell. So another KD rating is a 19, which means we'll be adding KD2 for the rest of the round. So now Klitschko will be a 4 when we go to check that. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa takes control. 25 is going to land a punch. Balboa will land. 51 cut. 51 will be good for a 2-point cross, which will bring Balboa up to 10 points. And then Klitschko is a 4 plus of 64 is 68. This should be a cut for Klitschko. Yep. He'll be taking major swelling under the left eye, which is not quite the same thing that... This is Klitschko. Round 8 cut. Major swelling. Under left eye. So he's -2 defense, -2 punches landed, and +1 cut. That's good for 3 cut points for Klitschko. Or against Klitschko, I should say. Alright, so now that we've got that done, we're back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. 72 is ring movement, so we are moving to the near ropes. Situation as far as the control factor is not changed, just the position. Klitschko stays in control. Landing a power shot. Balboa is a 4 against a 17. 17-4. So that'll be 6 points to Klitschko either way, which will bring him up to 11 points. And we need another KD rating for him as well. We got a K1 to 10. So rating for Klitschko is an 18, which means Balboa will add his KD2, which is a 0. So that's fortunate for Balboa. Klitschko had 5 points, I think, so he should be up to 11 on a 6-point shot. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control thanks to having Balboa against the ropes. 17 is going to land a punch. He will land. 14 will be good for a 2-point jab. So 13 points for Klitschko. Back to Klitschko for the control check. He'll stay in control. Special, so we've got to consult the text here. Just a break in the action. Klitschko stays in control. Last card of the round. 66 would be ring movement, but that's the end of the round. So 10 points for Balboa to 13 for Klitschko. 13 is 11. Klitschko is still fatigued. By a 3-point differential, we need to see how the judges score it. The judges are scoring it. High, high, low. So they're giving the round to Klitschko. Yeah, they're giving the round to Klitschko. That's a win for Klitschko. I'll get the decks reshuffled, and then we'll come back to round 9, where Klitschko will be our aggressor. Klitschko will be our aggressor to start round 9, but before we get there, 2 checks. First, to see if Klitschko's corner does anything with that major swelling under his left eye that he picked up. His corner man is average, so 25 says an average reduction, so we'll reduce it by 1 cut point, which will bring Klitschko down to 2. Then we need to see what if the referee is going to make any mistakes this round. 43 says he will not. With that, there's the bell to start round 9. Klitschko's our aggressor. He will start us off with no control. Balboa. No control. Klitschko takes control. Berlin's been watching a barn burner today. 60 will be a clinch. Actually, 60 is ring movement, so we're moving to the left neutral corner. Klitschko is now a +1 on his control checks. He will need a 12 to take, an 11 to take control, which a 15 won't do, but it will drop the card, which I'm not happy with. Over to Balboa. No control. Klitschko will take control. 20 is going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. 33 will be good for a 2-point jab or 2-point hook. Back to Klitschko. 11 will be enough for him to take control thanks to the rope factor. 70 will be ring movement, so we are moving. Staying in the left neutral corner. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 76 is ring movement. We're moving to the near ropes now. Klitschko's dancing around, but he's not able to land a blow so far. Still a +1. He'll keep control with that. 30 will land his own punch, and he'll pick up. 66 will be good for a 3-point uppercut, so up to 5 points for Klitschko. There we go. Back over to Klitschko for our next control check. He'll lose control. Balboa won't take it. Klitschko, no control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa will take control. 49 will clinch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. This round's been mostly Klitschko. 34 will miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 52 will clinch. Back to Klitschko. No control. Balboa will take control. 11 will land a power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 5. That should be 4 points to Balboa. Yep, 4 points to Balboa. So he's on the board, tattooing Klitschko with a good shot. Back to Balboa we go, who stays in control. 68 will be a clinch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko takes control. Foul. Klitschko's a B against a 7. That'll get waved off. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 46 will clinch. Back to Klitschko, stays in control. 51 will clinch again. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 58 will go for ring movement. We'll be moving. Well, we would be moving to the far rope, so we're going to move back to ring center because that's the end of the round. 4 points for Balboa, 5 for Klitschko. 385. Balboa still has 6 endurance left. Klitschko is very much fatigued. At a 1 point differential, we need to see how the judges score this one. The judges are scoring it. Low, even, high, so a dead even round. All right. 10-9. 10-10. 10-9 Klitschko. No winner there, which means... Wait. Balboa won round 7. I didn't note that. I'll get the decks shuffled for round 10, and coming into that, Klitschko will still be our aggressor. Ref check for round 10 says, all clear. There's the start of round 10. Klitschko is still our aggressor, so Klitschko will start us off with control. 78's ring movement, so we're moving. Staying at ring center, Klitschko continuing the dance. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. Foul, he's a B against. A 12, that'll get waved off. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 4 is going to land a power shot. Balboa is a 4 against a 1. That should be 4 points. Yep. That'll be 4 points to Klitschko. Starting the round off, landing another big haymaker. Getting Balboa's attention with that one. Reminding him that he's still in it. Klitschko reminding Balboa that he's still in it. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 27 is going to land another punch. Klitschko will land. 65 will be good for a 2-point combination. Klitschko just like that. Up to 6 points. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes control. Foul. Balboa is a B against a 45. I'm sure that'll be like a warning. Nope. Waved off. Over to Balboa, who stays in control. 32 is going to miss a punch. No counter punch. Over to back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko. No control. Balboa takes control. 10 is going to land a power shot. Klitschko is a 1 against a 3. That should be 4 points to Balboa. Yep, 4 points to Balboa, who narrows the gap in one shot. That'll bring Balboa up to 4 points on the round. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. Foul. Balboa is a B against a 28. That'll get waved off. Back to Balboa. Loses control. Klitschko. No control. Balboa takes control. 72 is going to be ring movement. We're moving to the far corner. Balboa now a +1, back to his normal 12 to take control, because remember, he's got a cut that's giving him a -1 to his control factor, which will be enough to give him control there. Special, okay. Let's see what we've got here. Just a brief pause in the action. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 66 will be a clinch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 10 will land another power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 6. That should be another 4 points for Balboa. Yep. That'll bring Balboa up to 8 points. Klitschko is just hanging in there tenaciously. Back to Balboa, though, who loses control. Klitschko takes control back, landing a power shot of his own. Balboa is a 4 against a 12. 12, 4. 5 points to Klitschko, and Balboa is hurt, so Klitschko gets the next action check unopposed. $11 points to Klitschko, and the next action check for Klitschko. 56 is ring movement, so we're moving. Back to ring center. Klitschko with a control check. No control. Balboa. No control. Klitschko takes control. Foul. Klitschko's a B against a 75. Oh boy. Klitschko, a 75 against a B, loses a point for hitting behind the head. Round 10 this is. Minus 1 point. Hitting behind the head. That's his second point deduction. Okay, so we're going to have to... So it looks like we're getting close to it for Klitschko. But Klitschko with the next action check is going to lose control. Balboa. No control. Klitschko takes control. 12 is going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. A 16 will be good for a 2-point jab, which will bring Klitschko up to 13 points. And end the round. So that's 8 points for Balboa, 13 for Klitschko. On a 5-point differential, we have to check. So let's see what the judges have to say about this round. They're scoring it even high, so they're giving the round to Klitschko. All right, I'm going to do a little bit more paperwork off camera. 111.98. Balboa is now fatigued as well. I'll get the decks shuffled, and then round 11 will see us meeting a fatigued Rocky Balboa. If Klitschko was paying any kind of attention to the fight Balboa had with Ken Norton, he'd probably know that fatiguing Balboa is one of the worst things he could have done. Because as we'll see on the fatigued side of Balboa's card, very little changes. His control factor against boxers jumps up 2 points, and he gets 2 points better on the KD1 rating. He also picks up some knockout points, but I don't know if we're likely to be checking for knockouts on... Well, there's a possibility that we might, but we need to do our referee check before we get into round... What is this? Round 11. Card says 42 should be another clean round. So with that, there's the bell, and Klitschko's our aggressor to start round 11. So Klitschko will start us off with control, landing a power shot right off the bat. Balboa is now a 2 against a 6. 6 and 2 is going to be 4 points to Klitschko. So 4 points over to Klitschko to start the round. Back to Klitschko with our action check, or with our control check. He will stay in control. 58 will be ring movement, so we're moving. Staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko on the control check. He'll keep it. 68 will be more ring movement. Let's see if we're actually moving anywhere this time. We are not. We're staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes control. 63 will clinch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. 36 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa, one card. No control for Balboa. Klitschko takes control. 18 is going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. 63 will be good for a 2-point combination. So Klitschko up to 6 points on the round. Just checking, make sure we didn't have any TKOs. We didn't. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko takes control. Landing another power shot. Balboa is still a 2 against an 8. That should be another 4 points. Yep, another 4 points to Klitschko, which will bring him up to 10 points. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 61 will be ring movement, so we'll be moving. Nowhere, staying at ring center. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 29 is going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. 58 will be good for a 3-point combination. So Klitschko up to 13 points. Back over to Klitschko we go, who stays in control. Klitschko is controlling this round. 74 is ring movement, so we're moving to the far ropes. Klitschko now needs an 11 to take control. Actually, didn't he have something that cut his control factor down? No, he didn't. Never mind. Okay, so back to Klitschko we go. An 11 will give him control, which that is not. Balboa, no control. Klitschko takes control. Landing another power shot. Klitschko's landed quite a few of these this round. Balboa is a 2 against an 18. Uh-oh. 18-2. So he's going to pick up 6 points either way, which will bring Klitschko up to 19 points. And we need to get a KB rating on that's a 2 against an 18. On a 1 to 10, we get a knockdown and full killer instinct. On 11 to 20, we get KD2 added for the rest of the round, which won't do anything for Klitschko. But the card here, come on. It's a 16, so that won't do anything for Klitschko. But we're back to Klitschko for the control check. He'll lose it. Balboa will take control. 11's going to land a power shot of his own. Klitschko is a 1 against a 1. That should be 4 points to Balboa. Yep, 4 points to Balboa. Balboa needed that badly. Back to Balboa with our next control check. He'll lose it. Klitschko Won't get it. Balboa will take control back. 65 will clinch. Back to Balboa. Stays in control. 10 is going to land another power shot. Klitschko's still a 1 against a 9. That'll be another 4 points to Balboa to close the gap. Not that I think it's going to matter in terms of winning this round. Which the last card of the round for Balboa would give him control, but that's the end of round 11. So 19 points for Klitschko to 8 for Balboa. They're both fatigued the rest of the way. Let's see, 19, that's 117. This has actually been a very even bout so far. At an 11-point differential, Klitschko will take the round 10-9. We'll get the decks shuffled, and when we come back to round 12, Klitschko will be our aggressor once again. Referee check for round 12 says, get another number. 18 says another clean round coming. With that, Klitschko's ready in Berlin. Round 12, it will be our aggressor. Klitschko will start us off with control. 62 will be ring movement, so we're moving to the far ropes. Technically, we should have been at ring center to start the round, but far ropes, actually. The other far ropes, Phoenix. Right back to where you were anyway. Klitschko now needs an 11 to take control, 11 or less to take control, which a 3 will do. 69 will be more ring movement, so we're moving. Now we're moving back to ring center. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 12 is going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. 1 point partially blocked. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa gets his first action of the round, and he'll take control. Foul. Balboa is a B against a 56. That'll probably be a warning. No, actually. That'll just be scold the fighters, no hitting bullet behind the head. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko can't take it. Balboa, no control. Klitschko takes control. 28 is going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. 28 will be good for a 3-point hook, which will bring Klitschko up to 4 points. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes control. 40 is a missed punch, no counter punch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 72 is ring movement, so we're moving to the far corner. Balboa now is back to his normal 12 to take control. Which that'll give him control. 25, he'll land a punch. Balboa will get on the board. 61 with a 3-point combination of his own. So just like that, we're at 4-3 Klitschko on the round. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 26 is going to land another punch. Balboa will land. 68 will be good for a 2-point combination, which will bring Balboa up to 5 points. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 44 misses a punch. Klitschko can't try to counterpunch. He's just out of his range. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. It's going to land a power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 7. That should be 4 points to Balboa. Yep. 4 points to Balboa. So 9 points on the round for Balboa. Back to Balboa once again, who stays in control. Landing another power shot. Klitschko's still a 1 against a 2. That should be another 4 points. Yep, 4 points to Balboa. That'll bring Balboa up to 13 points. Back to Balboa. Both fighters are exhausted, but they're still trading bombs. Balboa will stay in control because he's got Klitschko against the ropes. 12 is going to be another power shot. Klitschko's still a 1 against a 12. How is Klitschko still standing after this? 5 points to Balboa. Klitschko is just looking with the 1,000-yard stare. Lights are on, nobody's home. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko needs to wake up pronto. That won't help him do it. Balboa, no control. Klitschko takes control. Lands a punch. He needed this. He will land. 56 will be good for a 3-point combination. So Klitschko trying to eat into the gap with very little time left in the round. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa loses no control. Klitschko takes control. 11's going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. 1 point partially blocked. Not that it's likely to matter because that's the end of round 12. 18 points for Balboa to 8 for Klitschko. 125, 137. At a 10-point differential, Balboa will take the round 10-9. We've got another slobber knocker getting ready to go the distance, folks. I will get the decks reshuffled, and then when we come back for round 13, Balboa will once again be our aggressor. Referee check heading into round 13 says 62, clean round incoming. There's the bell. Balboa is our aggressor. He will start us off with no control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko, take no control. Balboa. Berlin getting a little bit restless, but they know they've been watching a hell of a bout today. Balboa takes control. 29 is going to, I believe he had a reduction on his punches landed range. Yes, he did. So he will actually miss the punch. No counter punch, though. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 23 is going to land a punch. Balboa will land. 30 cut. So 30 is good for a 2-point hook. Then did Klitschko have to add to his cut rating like Balboa has to? Yes, he's got to add. Klitschko is adding 1 to his cut rating. So he's a 4 plus 1 is a 5. That'll be no cut. Back over to Balboa for the control check. He'll keep it. 41 will be a missed punch, no counter punch. Back to Balboa. Stays in control. 63 will be another clinch. Back to Balboa. No control. Klitschko. No control. Balboa. Takes control. 14 just misses a power shot, but he'll land a punch. Balboa will land. 31 will be good for a 2-point hook. So Balboa up to 4 points on the round. Back to Balboa. No control. Klitschko. No control. Balboa. Takes control back. 50 will be a clinch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko. No control. Balboa. Takes control. 80 is ring movement. We're moving. Nowhere. We're staying at ring center. Back to Balboa. Who stays in control. 52 is a clinch. Back to Balboa. Stays in control. 30 is going to miss a punch because of a punch reduction range. Klitschko can't try to counterpunch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes it. 61 will have ring movement. We'll be moving to the right neutral corner. Klitschko now a +1 to take control, which means an 11 will work for him, which that is. Klitschko will have ring movement again, so we'll be moving to the left neutral corner this time. The only thing that's changed is where we're at in the ring. Klitschko stays in control. Foul. Klitschko's a B against a 70. That seems like it's going to be B against a 70. Nope. Warned. So Klitschko warning for following up a punch with an elbow. That's his first warning. So Klitschko needs to be careful here. He's got 2 point deductions and a warning now. Back to Klitschko we go, though, who loses control. Balboa. No control. Klitschko. No control. Balboa. Takes control. 36 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Last card of the round for Balboa would give him control, but that's the end of round 13. 4 points for Balboa to Bubkus for Klitschko. We've got to see how the judges score this one. We'll actually move them back to ring center. The judges are scoring this one high-low even, so a dead even round. All right, I will get the decks shuffled, and then Balboa will stay our aggressor for round 14. Referee check for round 14 says, clean round incoming. There's the bell. Balboa's our aggressor to start round 14. Balboa will start us off with no control. Klitschko, no control either. Balboa takes control. 28 is going to miss a punch because of a punch landed adjustment earlier. No counter punch though. Balboa No control. Klitschko takes control. 47 is going to clinch. Back to Klitschko, who stays in control. 10 is going to land a punch, just out of power shot range. Klitschko will land. 74 will be good for a 2-point uppercut, so Klitschko on the board first with 2 points. Back over to Klitschko, who stays in control. Landing another punch, Klitschko will land. 61 will be good for a 2-point combination. So Klitschko getting off to a somewhat quick start with 4 points in the round. Klitschko will stay in control. 69 will be ring movement, so we're moving to the near ropes. Klitschko is now +1 to take control. Let's back them up just a little bit. So Klitschko needs an 11 to take control, which that won't do. Balboa takes control. 66 will clinch. Back to Balboa. Takes control. 37 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko can't take it. Balboa, no control. Klitschko will take control. 42 misses a punch. Balboa can try to counter punch. He'll land a power shot in doing so. Klitschko is a 1 against a 9. That should be 4 points to Balboa. Yep, 4 points to Balboa. And just like that, we're all even at 4. Coming over to Balboa for the control check. Balboa will stay and will take control. 31 is going to miss a punch, no counter punch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. 11 is going to land a punch. Klitschko will land. 67 will be good for a 3-point uppercut. So Klitschko up to 7 points. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes control. 15 lands a punch. Balboa will land. 37 will be a 3-point cross. Just like that, we're right back to being knotted up. This time it's 7-all. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. Foul. Balboa is a B against a 27. That should get waved off, and it will. Back to Balboa. Stays in control. 44 misses a punch. Klitschko can't try to counter punch. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. Landing a power shot of his own. Balboa is a 2 against an 8. That should be 2 points to Klitschko, or 4 points to Klitschko. Yep. Which will bring Klitschko up to 11 points on the round. Back over to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa can't take it. Klitschko takes control. 72 is ring movement. We'll be moving to the near corner, except we're actually moving to ring center because That's the end of round 14. So 11 points for Klitschko to 7 for Balboa. 148, 136. At a 4-point differential, we need to see how the judges see it. They're scoring this one low, high, high. So they're giving it to Klitschko. They're giving the round to Klitschko. All right, and then Klitschko will be our aggressor as we have had another fight go the distance. So we're going to come back for round 15. Referee check heading into round 15 says, we have had a nice clean bout and that's going to continue here. So with that, there's the bell. Klitschko will start off round 15 with control. Leading into a landed punch, Klitschko will land. 41 will be good for a 3-point cross right away. Back over to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa can't take it. Klitschko, no control. Balboa takes control. 34 is going to miss a punch, no counterpunch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 52 will clinch. Back to Balboa. No control. Klitschko. No control. Balboa stays and takes control. 12 is going to land a power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 4 that should be 4 points to Balboa. Yep. 4 points going in Balboa's direction. Back over to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko takes control. Just misses a power shot, but he'll land a punch of his own. Klitschko will land. 63 will be good for a 2-point combination, so 5 points for Klitschko on the round. Back to Klitschko, who loses control. Balboa takes control. 38 will miss a punch, no counterpunch. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 23 is going to land a punch. Balboa will land. 1 is good for a 3-point jab, so up to 7 points for Balboa. Back to Balboa, who stays in control. 71 is ring movement, so we're moving to the far corner. Balboa will now be a +1 to gain control, which a 10 will work for anyway. 22, he'll land a punch. Balboa will land. 66 will be good for a 2-point combination. Balboa up to 9 points. Back to Balboa, who loses control. Klitschko can't take control. Balboa takes control. 58 will clinch. Back to Balboa, stays in control. 36 misses a punch, no counterpunch. Back to Balboa once again, who loses control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa, no control. Klitschko, no control. Balboa takes control. landing a power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against an 18. That can't be good. 18 against a 1 is 5 points to Balboa and full killer instinct. So 5 points to Balboa, which will bring him up to 14 points. And full killer instinct, which will bring us back to ring center. Killer instinct is 10 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got to take 2 from the other deck. First up for Balboa is another power shot. Klitschko's a 1 against a 13. 13, 1 will be another 5 points to Balboa. Going up to 19 points. Next up for Balboa, foul, which we don't check during Killer Instinct. Another power shot, power will get checked. Klitschko's a 1 against a 17. 17-1 is another 5 points to Balboa. Could you imagine if we end the fight on this Killer Instinct right before we go to time? That would be amazing. Next up for Balboa, 21 is going to land a punch. He will land. 12 will be good for a 2-point jab. I intended that as a rhetorical, but God may be getting ready to say, hold my beer. Let's find out. 33 will miss a punch, no counter punch. Last 2 cards up. 54 is a clinch. And finally, 11 will be a power shot. Klitschko is a 1 against a 7. Are you kidding me? That's 4 points to Balboa. And on the very last card of the bout, that's 30 points. On the very last card of the bout, Rocky Balboa picks up a 30-point, 1-round TKO over Vitaly Klitschko. 30-5. The referee, Art Mercante Jr., is waving the fight off. He's giving it to Marciano on a TKO. But we've got a very nice display of class in the ring as Klitschko and Balboa are touching gloves in a sign of respect after a very epic fight. But that will do it for that bout of the greatest boxer tournament in Title Bout II. As we'll see when we look at the brackets, Rocky Balboa has advanced to the finals. The only question is, who will he be facing? Rocky Marciano or Lennox Lewis? Stay tuned to the channel over Thanksgiving weekend. We'll be finding out then. We'll be finding out, however, in the midst of the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament in Christmas in Arkham. That will be all Thanksgiving weekend. As for Mystical Munchies, Saturday will be the dessert, Troll-Tide Candied Apples. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.